Seven different people.
It's a perfect
I shouldn't
movie.
trust 7 different organizations authorized to investigate the election. I should trust Dinesh D'Souza, who's getting like tons of fucking money from the Republican Party. That's who I should trust. You're insane. This is psychosis. This is psychotic.
I mean, if you would just. What's up? Thank you for letting me join.
What's up? How you doing?
What's
I'm
up?
hanging around. How's it going, guys?
That's cool, man.
I'm happy. I'm even
I had a
happier.
great day today.
Every day with Trump in office is an excellent day for me.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Okay, cool. Are you guys like? First of all, how old are you guys? And are you in a party together?
Old enough.
No, I don't know this person. No.
Old enough to vote for Trump.
Okay,
and any man that voted for Trump is in my party.
Okay.
Yeah, I voted for Trump as well.
All right,
I got that
same
idea.
Party.
Yeah, like kind of a good.
And we did
a cool guy,
we saved the country with our votes.
Yeah. He's cool on my part, so yeah.
That's how it works. We did the working, and we are going to reap the benefits.
Yes, you are. So are you guys like authoritarian, or do you disagree with the prompt?
I think Trump is the smartest man that's ever lived. He's the greatest man that's ever lived. Okay. He's the most successful man that's ever lived.
Yep.
And he won.
You're so right. Do you agree, Enjoyer?
He doesn't even have to answer the question.
I'm so sorry, what happened?
Do you agree with the Emperor?
I wasn't hearing, but yes, I do agree. He has been helping our country.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Do we know what the prompt is?
It appears that your belief host is in the minority here. Can you provide some proof for your belief, since you're making an extraordinary claim?
What, that he's an authoritarian?
I believe that's your claim, right?
Yeah. So I would say that trying to put the fate of the 2020 election in the vice president's hands unilaterally is an authoritarian act that's expanding presidential power. I think him trying to get control over the 3-letter agencies is an authoritarian act trying to expand presidential power. And I think he has floated multiple times disregarding what's written in the Constitution, which is a wild expansion of presidential power. So that's why I think he's an authoritarian.
The 3-letter agencies are the essence of authoritarianism, because they consist of individuals who are not elected. And in controlling those 3-letter agencies, he is actually acting in an anti-authoritarian fashion, because he's promoting democracy. He's promoting the Republican system of voting, as opposed to just having the government run by unelected officials who are figureheads and run everything behind the scenes.
And those 3-letter agencies, those are created by Congress, right? Which were elected.
I love jerking off. Scream out loud if you love jerking off. I jerk off on a daily basis.
Cool, sweet, love you. Thank you, Hassan, for that. But the 3-letter agencies are created by Congress, right?
Some of them.
And Congress is elected, right? And that's how our democracy works, is indirect. So you vote for representatives who enact the will of the people?
The 3-letter agencies you're referring to enact their own wills. Their creation is an ancillary, accidental detail which you are bringing up. The fact their autonomous function is irrelevant to the manner of their creation, much like the Big Bang is irrelevant to our conversation right now.
I don't agree that it's irrelevant, because you're saying that the 3-letter agencies are full of unelected bureaucrats, which is kind of technically true, but at the same time, it was made by Congress, which is an extension of the people's vote.
You just repeated my point. It's not kind of technically true. It is true.
It's kind of technically true, but it's also technically true that Congress, by the popular will of the people, did create these 3-letter agencies, right?
You're making an irrelevant point, and you're repeating your conclusion over and over again without refuting it.
It's because the way that our democracy works is that we elect representatives, so we don't directly vote on everything, but everything is a result of our vote, basically. So those 3-letter agencies full of unelected bureaucrats were created by extension of the popular will of the people by voting in by
Correct.
voting in Congress.
But you're making a straw man argument. I never argued that it was wrong for Congress to create agencies. I said that the autonomous function of these agencies is growing out of control, and they are run by people who were not elected. So that the Republican system, which you just described, is being thwarted and being undermined by this process that you seem to enjoy, which is that this process which created these bureaucratic agencies has come to start to rule the country in an autonomous fashion, irrelevant to and separated from a vote which we originally created. So you are asserting again the conclusion that because it was created by a vote originally, then therefore it is okay. But you're not refuting my point, and you still have not refuted my point.
So do you think it would be do you think that it would be good to have like the DOJ in control of the president controlling the DOJ and controlling like who is hired and who is fired and getting rid of the federal job protections of the civil servants?
The president, by our very nature of our Constitution, does control the DOJ, because the Attorney General of the United States serves both executive and bureaucratic functions, and there's no separation between the two roles. There's an Attorney General on the president's side who also serves in the Department of That's just the way our Constitution works. It's different in Israel. It's different in other countries. So that's how it works here.
But do you think it would be good? Like, is it a good precedent to set that the president can reach into the three-letter agencies and fire people at will, even though that those people currently have federal job protections? That the president can just reach into whatever three-letter agency and fire whoever?
It depends on the status of the three-letter agency and what they're doing, and I don't think they're doing very many good things.
No,
right now.
It doesn't depend on that, because Schedule F didn't depend on that. He's just talking about cutting whole departments. So if you want to say it depends, that's fine, but that's a less radical thing than what Donald Trump wants to do, right?
The three-letter agencies, I don't recall hearing or reading about him wanting to destroy entire three-letter agencies.
Well, he would have the power to do that. So do you know what Schedule F is?
So I don't think he wants to destroy them. I don't think he's going to, and I think I've made my point.
Are you familiar with the Schedule F executive order at the end of Donald Trump's presidency?
No.
Where it would categorize a bunch of civil servants into a new categorization called Schedule F that doesn't enjoy federal job protections and would
sounds good to me.
Effectively make them political appointees?
A lot of it sounds good to me.
So you think that it would be good to take a bunch of nonpartisan people, or nonpartisan directly related to the president, and give the president the ability to fire them at will and replace them with political appointees?
See the and in the rest of your statement. I don't see where that enters into this, but firing, yes.
Well, because Schedule F would be replaced by the president.
What you just said doesn't. I don't see how it follows from what you previously said.
If he fires people who are newly categorized Schedule F employees and then replaces them with whoever he wants to, they would be political appointees. Necessarily.
If he does that, they would be.
The alternative is he just doesn't replace them.
Yeah, I think that is the alternative. I think that's his point. I think that's why we created the Department of Government Efficiency.
So if he didn't want to replace them, why would he include it in Schedule F that he does replace them with political appointees, the same way that he replaces the heads of the departments?
I don't think he's going to do that.
Well, you can say you don't think he's going to do that, but he tried to do it at the end of his first term.
I don't think you provided any evidence to support that.
Go look up Schedule F.
I'm
referencing a very particular executive order.
I think you're making a weak argument for your thesis that he's an authoritarian.
Okay. Do you want to move on to the second part? Because he is trying to expand presidential power over the three-letter agencies. That is true. Even if you think it's good, that is just true that he wants to expand the presidential power and influence over the three-letter agencies. So then, let's also talk about how he was trying to put the fate of the 2020 election in the hands of the vice president through fraudulent electoral slates.
So, if the three-letter agencies are acting in a bureaucratic and autonomous way, not under the control of the people, and he is acting under the control of the people, and he replaces those bad actors with good actors, then he's not an authoritarian. So your argument lies entirely in your evaluation of Donald Trump's character.
Well, he is trying to expand presidential power necessarily by doing that, right?
No.
No?
No, because
So
it comes back to his character.
Putting the job in the president to hire and fire people in the three-letter agencies, which he's not currently allowed to do, is not expanding presidential power? Giving him a power that he's not allowed to do right now.
Not necessarily, because if he replaces them with people in the people's interest instead of unelected people, then that is in fact making him an extension of a secondary extension. Not only Congress is controlling these agencies and creating them, but the president is controlling who appoints them. So that is actually making another barrier between them and the people.
Do you understand that would highly politicize all of the three-letter agencies, right? Every single one.
Nope.
Okay. Do we want to talk about him trying to put the fate of the 2020 election in the vice president's hands?
I think that it was right for him to do that because it was a stolen election.
Okay. Did a single judge rule in your favor?
Yes.
You're right, a single judge did. Okay. Well, kind of. He found non-outcome determinative fraud in Philadelphia, I think. Or maybe it might have been Pittsburgh. So, yes, a single judge kind of ruled in your favor. Did any audit come back and find that there was outcome determinative fraud? Did any of the state legislatures recall their electors?
No, but they should have.
But they didn't, right?
They should have, though.
But they didn't, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, none of the state legislatures recalled their electors. All of the recounts found that Joe Biden still won the popular vote. 62 lawsuits, only one ruled in favor of Donald Trump, and it still didn't find anything outcome determinative. Right? Rudy Giuliani...
The recounts were fraudulent because they consisted in recounting fraudulent votes.
Okay. Is there any evidence of that?
3,000 Mules.
That's not even the name of the movie. It's 2,000 Mules. So, didn't the maker of...
It's actually 3,000.
Didn't the publisher of that movie have to post a public apology to stop the lawsuits?
He didn't have to.
But he did, though, right?
It's news to me.
He did. That movie is fully retracted by the publishers.
That apology is solely to appease the left-wing mob that is seeking to lynch him.
AKA the court system, right?
A left-wing court system which we have seen engage in political prosecutions.
They were civil cases, so someone sued him for defamation, and then they posted an apology for the movie. I think they settled out of court with the people suing.
Okay. What is the relevance of this lawsuit?
Because the movie that you're citing as proof of outcome determinative fraud was never brought into a meaningful court case to challenge the election, and the only court case that's involved in is a public retraction of it.
And what is your point?
That this is not evidence of outcome determinative voter fraud. This isn't evidence of anything. The publisher literally apologized for posting it.
When you say it, you do not reference exactly what you're referring to, and you are conflating whatever you. Yeah, you're conflating a defamation lawsuit regarding one particular detail with the movie with the entire movie. So I do not agree with your conclusion that it is not evidence of outcome determinative election fraud, just solely based on the presence of a court-ruled defamatory statement within that film. You are jumping to conclusions. Your argument is entirely false, and I am entirely correct.
Did Rudy Giuliani come out and say that it was his First Amendment right to lie about Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss?
No.
He did not say that.
He did not say that.
Okay.
This is what you are looking. You are likely accessing left-wing AI-generated information, and you are
No,
likely so
it's
caught
court-
up within
it's
it.
Court docs.
You
It's
are
court
likely
docs,
so
to be,
caught up
to be
within
clear.
it that it is dominating your life and all of
No.
your feeds and all your
So,
devices, and you are thoroughly hooked into the left-wing matrix.
So here's what it actually is. I'm glad that you tried to psychoanalyze me. So what happened is Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss sued Rudy Giuliani for defamation, and his legal defense was not that he didn't defame them, but to say, I lied, but that was my First Amendment right to do it, and I deny any damages that Shay Moss or Ruby Freeman may have faced by my lies, and he ended up losing that defamation lawsuit.
Okay.
So he did defame Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss by claiming that they engaged in election fraud.
Okay.
Which
Well,
this is Trump's head. This is Trump's head of his re-election campaign, right?
Your argument has deteriorated into insulting the character of the people with whom Trump associates himself.
Well, no, it's not insulting their character. It's they were lying. They were lying.
Okay. Well, they did. Well.
The person who was leading Donald Trump's election
the bottom
contests
line is that
was
you are
lying.
discussing the character of those with whom he associates himself
instead
instead of proving your point that he is an authoritarian. Whereas I could just as easily insult the character of those with whom Biden associates himself.
Well, just to be clear,
you are not advancing your argument.
Just to be clear, we're not even talking about if he's an authoritarian right now, because you brought up that the election was fraudulent, as if that gives the Donald Trump the right to unilaterally make the decision as to who won it. So that's the part that's authoritarian, but you got caught up by claiming there was fraud, even though all of the people around Donald Trump admitted to lying about it. Because Fox News got sued by Dominion, settled for the biggest settlement ever. Giuliani admitted that he was lying about Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, but said it was First Amendment right to do it. Kenneth Chesebro and Jenna Ellis pled guilty to the charges in Georgia. I don't know how like every single time that there was a contest to the election, a judge ruled against him, or the person bringing the suit admitted that they were lying about it, or they got sued for defamation and admitted that they were lying about election fraud claims. None of them have been held up in court except for one, which was not outcome determinative. So if you want to claim that there's election fraud because of a movie you saw, I don't know why you're claiming that I'm brainwashed, because you are getting your information from Dinesh D'Souza.
Dinesh D'Souza's a stand-up guy. And unlike the individuals from whom you claim that, unlike the individuals from whom you receive your information, he is a straight-collared gentleman, and your ad hominem attacks are just despicable.
It's not ad hominem. They admitted to lying about election fraud, and your only evidence is a fucking movie.
They are ad hominem because you are not making a genuine argument, and you do not believe what you are even saying.
So, okay. Correct me where I'm wrong. Did Rudy Giuliani not make that argument in court?
I haven't seen that information.
Do you want to look it up?
No.
Okay.
But if he did
the publisher not apologize for 2,000 Mules?
No, he didn't.
The publisher did not.
If anything, acting on the information that you have communicated, he apologized for making a defamatory statement, not for the entire film.
Okay. Let's see. So the only thing that you are citing to prove outcome determinative fraud in 2020, the publisher did release a response to Mr. Andrews' family in relation to a defamation lawsuit, right?
Okay.
And that's your only evidence of fraud, right?
I have
Is it discredited?
I have 2,000
discredited
mules.
movie.
Which,
by the way, it is 2,000 Mules. It's not 3,000 Mules, so you don't even know what you're talking about. But
I mean, I don't see how misnaming 2,000 versus 3,000 proves I don't know what I'm talking about. But
Because
if
this
you
is
would
your
like-
this
it
is
seems
your
that
this
it's
is your
really-
this
it
is
really- it
your
just evidences
linchpin.
how
This is
your
the whole
entire
argument.
Your entire style of argumentation is all based on what you want to be true. In fact,
Which
you're
is
going
true,
so
by
far
the
as to
way.
claim you are going so far as to claim that I don't know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
merely upon the misnomer of 2,000 mules as 3,000 mules.
Well,
You
also
are
in the
going
fact
so
that you
far,
didn't know the
you do
defamation
not
case
have a-
related to
you
the
have
only
not
movie you're
presented a
citing.
rational
You didn't
argument
know.
for any of your claims.
I'm not saying
You
that you
not
don't.
provide-
I'm not
you are-
saying.
you are-
Okay,
you
give me
are
one
merely
second.
an
Give me
ad
one second,
hominem.
buddy.
You
Give me one
provide
second,
a
buddy.
merely
Give me one second,
long-
buddy. Give me one
a
second. Give me
long,
one second. Give me one
flaccid
second.
ad
Give me
hominem
one second.
attack
Give me one second.
against the person you are speaking with.
So just to
and
be
against
clear,
Donald Trump
just to
himself.
be clear, I wasn't saying
Yes.
that you don't know what you're talking about because you
is
miscited
what
the
you
name of a movie. I'm
That is
saying
what you said.
you don't know what you're talking about because
That is
you
what you
miscited
said.
the name of the movie because
That is what you said. You said
Okay,
you don't know
give,
what you're talking
give me one
about.
second, bud. I said that you don't know what you're talking about because you miscited the name of the movie because you weren't familiar with the defamation lawsuit in relation to the only movie that you're citing to prove outcome determinative fraud. You didn't know about any of the lawsuits in regard to the person leading Donald Trump's election contest. You didn't know about any of the guilty pleas. You don't know anything about this at all. And for you to claim that I'm brainwashed, even though I've looked into all of this, I know exactly what 2000 Mules is, and I know exactly how it's bullshit. The fact that you watched a movie and you think that you're an election expert is insane when none of the state legislatures agreed with you, none of the state investigators agreed with you, none of the judges except for one, which was not outcome determinative, agreed with you. All of the people that did the recounts didn't agree with you. Donald Trump's own daughter didn't agree with you. Donald Trump's own vice president didn't agree with you. And you're using this to justify Donald Trump trying to make Mike Pence choose the winner of the election, which was illegal. That's why I'm saying you don't know what you're talking about. You can unmute.
You enjoy reading People magazine or their equivalent, or that magazine's equivalent,
Or
on the
like
internet,
court docs.
regarding all
or
of
court
these,
docs.
regarding all of these public events, and you judge other people's knowledge of those events by their knowledge of your, lazy googling, and that's okay.
Lazy Googling of
But
court
that
documents,
is-
right?
that is what you do.
Directly relevant defamation lawsuits, right?
No,
Yeah, because
No.
this was a lawsuit in which
You
part
haven't-
of your
you haven't-
part of the
you
only
haven't-
movie you
your
cited got
entire-
retracted, and you didn't even know about
No.
it.
Your entire argument is circumstantial. You have not provided a single argument against 2,000 Mules, except to say I initially said it was 3,000, and one person sued the
And
director
won,
for
and
some
won,
defamatory
and
statement.
won, and they
So you
apologized,
have
right?
No argument. You have no argument against the.
They
argument
won,
against
and
the-
they apologized,
You have
right?
no argument.
The person who sued won, and the publisher apologized, right?
You are merely repeating the same argument that I've already.
Well, because
proved to be
it's
flaccid.
completely insane
you
to
are-
say,
you
oh
are-
yeah,
you
the
are-
whole entire
you are
2020
only
election
looking-
was stolen because
you
I
are
watched a
only-
movie.
What?
You're insane.
No, not because I watched a movie.
Yes,
but
because you
of the
watched a movie. That's the
because
only
of
thing you provided to
No,
me.
no, but
Can you
because
even
of the-
tell me? Can you even
but
tell me
because
what
of-
2000
no
Mules
one said
alleges?
Well, I mean, thank you for finally asking that question. It seems as though this entire discussion has revolved around your People magazine reading and lazy Googling regarding the movie instead of the claims within the movie.
Okay, can you name
as
one?
I will say, Dinesh D'Souza performed an extensive, exhaustive, genius analysis of cell phone records in and around many election hubs in 2020. And he found that the same cell phones were moving back and forth between post office boxes and election facilities in a pattern which evidenced the distribution and submission of fraudulent ballots by the same individuals over and over and over again. There's no reason any sane individual should drive back and forth between an election facility and random locations in the streets next to that or near that election facility. And he found evidence of these mules harvesting ballots, these fraudulent ballots, and submitting them. Now, you've done nothing to prove that those claims are false. All you
Because
can do
it's
is
not a
cast-
claim, to be clear. It's not a claim of
Well,
election
it
fraud
is a
to
claim,
take
and
cell phone
no matter
data
how
going
much
to
you want
places you
that
wouldn't
to not
expect.
be-
That's
no
not
matter
claim.
how much you want
That's
it to
not.
not be a claim.
It's
I
not.
have provided an argument.
That doesn't prove anything. Right?
It does prove something.
It proves nothing.
Anything. It does. And your assertion that it does not is not an argument.
Okay, here's
you
a-
can just say it doesn't.
Then
All
here's
you
the
want.
question: Did they
And you can
did they
cite
give
People
this information to the
Magazine and all
FBI?
the courtroom drama, all you want. Everyone gets sued in the public.
Did they give this information to the FBI?
Your idea that it's relevant that
Did
he
they give
was
this
sued for
information to the
defamation?
FBI?
Everyone gets sued these days.
Did they
for
give this
defamation.
information to the FBI?
So, it really is evidence that you don't know what you're talking
Did
about.
they give this
When you
information
think
to the
that
FBI?
When you think that a defamation lawsuit is really evidence of the lack of
Did they give this information to anybody to investigate it?
Especially in 2024.
Did they
It
give
shows
this
that you
information
don't
to investigators?
It shows that you do not understand the court system.
I wonder if they
which
gave
you are
this
referencing.
information to investigators.
Well, this goes back to the three-letter agency.
Slow answer for no, they didn't, because they knew that this claim was bullshit. That's why.
It was not
Because
bullshit.
claiming that a cell phone went to multiple locations doesn't prove that they dropped off illegal ballots.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't at all.
Yes, it does.
All right, well then where are all the illegal ballots?
They've already located many of them.
No, they haven't.
You just haven't read that part of People magazine because you are uninterested in it. and
I don't
you're
know where you
interested
got
only-
People magazine. I've literally been citing you
Well,
court documents.
People magazine is my word for your lazy googling and your interesting little obsession with court documents.
My lazy Googling,
which
even
have-
though I've cited
yes.
multiple court cases and you've cited a movie that got discredited by the publishers.
It was not discredited by the
It was
publishers.
absolutely discredited
you
by
wanted
the
to be discredited.
publishers.
You wanted to be discredited, but it was not
It
discredited.
was.
And
So-
your argumentation
So this is
lies
the state-
entirely in circumstantial
This is the
claims,
state of the Republican
ad hominem
Party.
attacks.
This is the
and you
state-
have done nothing,
This is the
absolutely
state-
nothing to advance your point of view.
Actually, that was an ad hominem. This is the state of the Republican Party, where you're saying, "Oh, I don't care that every state investigator disagrees with me, and every single person that was hired independently to investigate this certified that Biden won, and everyone in Congress certified that Biden won, and none of the states recalled their electors. But even though all of that is true, and no one found any legal proof of election fraud, I'm going to claim that there was because I watched a movie by Dinesh D'Souza in which one of the cases in that movie caused for a public retraction of part of the movie. Like, this is a highly discredited movie, and this is the only thing you cited to me to prove outcome determinative election fraud in 2020. This is insane. You are insane. You are undergoing psychosis.
You have done nothing,
and
to
you are
prove
using this to
that it did not
justify
occur.
a coup.
All
You're
you
using
can
this
do
to
is
justify
cite-
a coup.
All you could do is cite a broken and biased and rigged court system, and
For a defamation
People magazine
suit,
reading,
by the
People
way.
magazine front pages regarding the movie, which is highly credited and highly respected.
Yeah, you're right. I
It's a
shouldn't.
highly
I
respected-
shouldn't
it's a
trust.
perfect movie.
I shouldn't
It's a
trust
perfect
7
movie.
different people.
It's a perfect
I shouldn't
movie.
trust 7 different organizations
Yeah.
authorized to investigate the election. I should trust Dinesh D'Souza, who's getting like tons of fucking money from the Republican Party. That's who I should trust.
None
You're insane.
of-
You're.
well,
This is psychosis. This
well,
is psychotic.
I mean, if you would just review the court cases that you are citing, you would yourself realize that
they were
you
all
are
thrown
not
out on
citing good
standings. Okay.
right? And they shouldn't have been because those were bad rigged judges.
Well, then
with
here's the
biased
question:
judges.
why couldn't the Trump administration get cases that wouldn't immediately get thrown out on standing? Why couldn't why couldn't Trump find people who actually had standing to bring the case?
He did his best
Because it was
and
all
the
bullshit
details-
is the answer.
the
because
de-
Eastman came out and he
It was
said
not
that
all
it doesn't
bullshit.
matter
It
if
was
the
not all
lawsuits are
bullshit.
good. It just matters that
It
the
was not all
lawsuits are
bullshit.
there so we can do
It
the
was
false
not all
electors.
bull-
That's
it was not all BS.
It was all bullshit. Because if
and
it wasn't
the-
all bullshit, the
and
most
it
powerful
was
person
not.
in the
It
fucking
was
country could
completely
find someone
true.
with standing
And
to
that's
bring
why
a
he won
lawsuit.
this time because he won last time.
If it
And
wasn't
was
all
rigged last
bullshit,
time.
all of the
It
fucking
was rigged-
the most
it was
powerful
rigged
person,
by
the most powerful
the-
person in the country
You
could
just-
find somebody with standing to bring a lawsuit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand that you have to cope with the fact that Trump won in 2020 by all these fraudulent, spurious
Even though no
argumentations.
one has ever proven that, right?
Well, 2,000 Mules does definitively.
Oh yeah, my movie. I forgot about that movie.
The obvious,
Oh, yeah.
the obvious rigging.
You know,
of Twitter
it's crazy.
By the left wing.
I saw some movie, by the way,
the
where like this huge
double
green guy
impeachment
destroyed
hoaxes.
New York. It's called The
Everything that
Avengers.
The left wing people did.
Yeah, I saw
the
this one
impeachment
movie where this
hoaxes.
huge green guy destroyed like half of New York. It was insane. I don't know why the Democrats aren't doing
It's
anything about
probably
that.
Rosie O'Donnell you were watching. It's probably why you were
Yeah, it's
high
called The
watching Rosie
Avengers.
O'Donnell.
I don't know why the
No,
Democrats aren't
it's
doing anything
Rosie
about that
O'Donnell
guy.
while you're high in your left-wing media. Yeah.
You realize that I couldn't even tell you who Rosie O'Donnell is, right? I don't even know who that is.
You likely cannot name many public figures that are important.
Yeah, do you know who John Eastman is, bud?
Someone important to you.
Okay.
Someone, and likely not many.
I can't
people
tell if
other
you're a
than-
troll or not, but I appreciate your fire. If you're not a troll, it makes me existentially horrified about the state of our country. But if you are a troll, then you did good.
I hope that you are a troll too, sir.
Yeah.
Because if you are not a troll,
Because I
then we
trust the
have
courts
many-
and you trust Dinesh D'Souza's movie.
I don't know why you would trust the courts.
I heard James
but they're
Gunn.
not.
I heard James Gunn is like orchestrating this big plot where this one dude is gonna like come down to Earth from Krypton and he's gonna like fuck up some shit. So hopefully the Democrats can do something about that too.
Well, they got Twitter taken away from them, so I doubt it. They got Twitter taken away from them after they rigged it. They got the government taken away from them after they tried to use it. After they rigged it, yeah.
Mhm.
After they used it to try to impeach and institute a monarchical vote of no confidence against Trump twice, they were defeated. And
So-
Trump has won.
Is it a little scary to you that you couldn't even tell me? Do you know what an elector is?
You haven't provided a single
Do you know
rational
what an
argument
elector
throughout
is?
this entire.
Isn't
You
that a
have
little
no
scary?
You have no argument.
Isn't it a little scary that you came up to argue with me about if Trump is an
You haven't-
authoritarian,
I'm
but you
still
can't even
trying to argue
name
with you.
can't even name the person
You
who
haven't
was
provided an
leading
argument.
the legal challenges in 2020. You don't even know who that is.
You have only peripheral and circumstantial argumentation relying upon
Okay,
character
then
evidence.
prove me wrong right now. Can
All
you
you
tell
can
me
do
who
is
John
ask-
Eastman is?
I will not submit or subscribe.
Can you tell me who
your
John Eastman
vicious
is?
ad hominem attacks.
This isn't ad
which
hominem,
have
by the
no-
way. This is a
If
very
I know
important
who
question.
John
Do you know who
Eastman
John
is-
Eastman is? Yeah.
What a flaccid, irrelevant question that does not advance your point at all.
If you
have
knew
done
who
nothing.
John
have done
Eastman was,
nothing
you
to
would know that
advance
it's
your
not
own.
irrelevant. By
You
the
have
way,
done nothing to advance your point of view.
you know nothing.
And you have done nothing
you know
but
nothing,
insult.
but for some reason you
You
feel
have done
confident to
nothing
come up here and
but
argue with me,
insult.
even though all you've seen is a movie. You realize that it doesn't take 2 hours to know
I've
how
mentioned
all of
far
a
more-
fucking
I've mentioned
election
far more
works,
than a
right?
movie.
No, you reference 2,000
You
mules
have
and that's
one-
it, and a
sir,
bunch of
you are a
Republican
man
talking
of
points.
One point of view.
You realize that it
watch-
takes more than 2 hours to understand how elections function, right?
Yeah.
Clearly-
I wish
clearly
would
you do
spend-
not.
I wish you would spend that time to understand it yourself.
I
But
understand
you-
myself
you
very
have
well.
not. No, you do not.
I understand that not everybody has time to go through court cases and opinions from the judges or
I
the
mean,
legal
you haven't
arguments
gone
that
through-
those
You
people make,
haven't.
but
You haven't.
I have.
No, you haven't.
Can you tell me what Donald Trump was charged with in the federal indictment?
There have been several federal indictments.
The election interference case. What was he charged with?
I think it had to do with him keeping
I don't. Yeah, just to be clear.
classified documents.
No,
in
the
his own
election
house.
interference case.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What was he charged with?
That's crazy.
Name what he was charged with. Tell me what he was charged with.
I'm not looking for the statutes. Just to be clear, I'm looking for like a general summary.
I don't remember.
Yeah, isn't that convenient?
Tell me the general summary.
Yeah, so Donald Trump in 7 states caused fraudulent electorate slates to be submitted due to the advice of John Eastman, and he tried to get Mike Pence to choose the
Oh, you're
fraudulent.
talking about 2020.
Yes,
I thought you were talking about 20. I thought you were talking about 24. He won 24.
Yes, he did 124.
Yes.
But why would I be talking
told-
about a federal indictment in regard to 2024?
Because he has been
anything.
federally indicted for 2024.
No, not for 2024. All of the
Yeah.
indictments that he faced were in relation to things that weren't in 2024.
I never claimed it was done in relation to 2024. It was done.
Then why did you
proximate to
think I was
2024.
talking about 2024's election?
Because all of the majority of the indictments have. I didn't think you were talking about 24's election. All of the indictments have occurred proximate to the 20. Thank you for bringing that up because it really emphasizes my point. Is that all of these indictments
sure it
you're
does.
referring, all of these indictments that you are referring to have occurred in proximity to the 24
Dog,
election.
you don't even know what's
which
in them.
goes to show
You don't
just
even
how
know what's
rigged
in
the
them.
justice system.
You're claiming it's
which goes to
rigged. You
show-
don't even know what's in them, dog.
I do know what's in them.
No,
And-
I literally just asked you what was in it. You went, I don't know, I forget. Could you explain it to me? Like, no, you did. Like, stop.
That's because
stop.
you miscommunicated the time period you were referring to, and now the
No,
confusion
I
that
did.
you
I didn't
caused-
miscommunicate.
Yes, you
I
did.
said which is.
Now,
Can
the
you explain to me
indictments
the
that you've
federal
been charged
indictment
with
in relation to
occurred
election
in
interference?
relation-
There's only
They
one.
occurred in relation to 2024, and why do you think that is, sir? It's because your left-wing justice system desires to rig the system against Donald Trump,
And yet
And it
you
all
don't
occurred
know.
because
And
they
yet
don't
you
want
don't
to.
know what's in it. Isn't that interesting?
I do know what's in it.
Clearly, okay. Well then,
Is it wrong that they did not occur within proximity to 2024? Is that wrong?
no, because he broke the law.
Okay, so therefore I do know what's in it because the date of the date it was filed occurs within the lawsuit, and if I know that it occurred near to 2024, I do know something that's in
No,
it.
you
Therefore,
know that
you
he
are
was
incorrect.
indicted. You don't know what's in the indictment.
He was indicted for election interference.
Mhm.
He was indicted for
Need a little bit more specific than that.
Why?
Because if you know what's in the indictment, you would know how he tried to interfere with the election.
Yeah, he was Oh, I see. Yes, he was indicted for election interference by paying off.
Nope.
Stormy Daniels.
Nope, wrong case. Wrong case.
Nope, not the wrong case.
Yes, wrong case. That's the New York
Nope.
one. I'm talking about the federal one.
Nope. Nope. It's no. If you knew about the
You
case,
have
you know that
no idea what you're
you
talking
would
about.
know-
Okay, bud.
No, I have.
Good
every
trolling.
idea.
Good
You
trolling.
don't
You
know.
did good. You did good.
He
What an idiot. Okay.